Well, did have a little bit of a delay there. Was due to a lobby glitch. We did get underway in that original lobby, and we did start under safety car conditions, so we did have to do a quick lobby reset. Apologies, of course, to our drivers, and thank you to them for dealing with that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lights, now down to 17 drivers as we've lost 2. And we're underway in Silverstone for good this time. And once again, seems to be a good jump from Grimray to retain the lead. Here comes Chael, though. Here they come through turns 1 and 2. Who's going to hold on to the lead? It is going to be the Alfa Romeo once again, holding on to the lead through turns 1 and 2 as Vidi Viali getting a bit loose. He went wide there. A little bit of contact between a number of drivers. As yellow flag behind, but we are underway as everybody's scrambling through turn 4. Here comes Robbie and Lurka goes round. Lurka off into the infield, as is the Haas, that is Bora. But Chael takes the lead here on lap number 1 from Grimray. So, of course, Grimray winning the sprint earlier today, and already 2 cars down to the back of the order. Robbie, of course, there as well. That's another mistake from the McLaren as we get underway here on lap number 1. Robbie, of course, to the back. He's on the infield and struggling to recover that car, and already these front 2 starting to make a bit of a breakaway. Of course, looking real quick at the tires, hards are the choice for most of the grid. You got Chael opting for mediums, as does Ozan. Lurka actually going for softs, and of course got caught up in that early incident as Game James makes his way past Bono. I believe that's actually on the at the end of Maggots and Beckett's. I forget exactly what that corner name is, but at the start of lap 1, it is Chael leading the way from everybody else. And you can see very big train behind him, but Chael gonna lead early. You got Goon Jamie right on the back of Isses Vindovs as Chael leads them over the line to start lap number 2. Looking back down the order a little bit, biggest gap right now is really between Bono and Gaming James. Thomas D has somehow joined. Of course, thankfully that'll just be as a spectator, so no harm, no foul there as they make their way through turn 3 for the first time. Gaming James, though, falling back. Potential mistake there from the Williams. He's going to lose a chunk of positions. He's now down into 11th. He's behind Ozan. Not great exit, though, from the Alpine of our Strading. Here comes Gaming James looking down the inside of Ozan. Is he going to get 2 in 1 go? Not quite. They'll remain side by side. A little bit of contact, though, between Ozan and Strading. Ozan actually now potentially looking to line up a move on Strading, but not quite able to get that done. Meanwhile, up at the front, it is Chael still holding that lead by about half a second. And now a couple of gaps starting to form as Gaming James, I think, finally makes his way past Ozan. That was probably a nice little move there through Cops. But as we make our way through Maggots and Beckett's, it's Chael leading the way from Grimray. But that gap, 0.3 of a second. But that is before DRS is activated. And these front 7 already starting to make a little bit of a getaway. Of course, Bono kind of on his own right now. Here comes Gaming James down the inside of our Strading. That's a great little move there from the Williams, as long as he can make it stick, which he does. Ozan is also battling with Tommy XXC, and Tommy XXC goes into the back of him. Is there damage on that Mercedes? I don't believe so, but he definitely went into the back of him, maybe a slight bit of damage. Of course, those end plates still seem to be on the Mercedes. Is he going to be slow at all through 1 and 2? Is he going to spill out wide? No, that Mercedes seems to be okay. But Tommy XXC looking to make a recover as Sneaky Robbie takes a trip off into the infield. He'll recover that car and get back rolling again. DRS now activated here on lap number 3, and it's Chael leading the way by 0.3. And it's like we saw in the sprint race. Chael, Grimray, Vindovs, and Jamie starting to form this front pack. But, Tanner there in 5th is holding solidly there. Of course, Pickle with a little bit of a breakaway from Gaming James, who's managed to find his way past Bono. So Williams is, of course, going to be looking to start to make a run. Of course, you can see Tom XC back there in 12th part of this pack, but 1.7 seconds is the gap between the 2 packs at the moment. Of course, you got Lurka down there in 15th, trying to pull that gap back, trying to get closer to his teammate. But as DRS activated once again, Chael going to be able to hold on to it. Here comes Grimray taking a peek to the inside. But those potentially not quite confident enough yet on those hard compound tires to make a move. And so it'll be Chael in the lead for yet another lap. And still, of course, a lot of racing to go. will stick on board with Grimray as they make their way out of the final corner. And that gap, 0.4 of a second, is Thomas D joining again. Of course, don't know why he's joining, but Gaming James setting the new fastest lap of the race, actually, now that he got some clean air, 1:29.1. So Gaming James, currently the fastest driver out on circuit, has actually pulled a bit of a gap back to Bono, but that pack up at the front is continuing to pull away a little bit. But Gaming James still very, very quick and pulling that gap back really quickly. And Bono, I think, really just starting to hold some of this pack up. Tommy XXC, potentially a driver that's stuck in this, as is VDV Alley, making his way, trying to make his way back after an early race incident. But, of course, jumping back up to the front. Got a train of 7 cars, which could quickly become 8, depending on how quickly Gaming James can catch this pack. And of course, it's 6 different teams in the top 6. Tommy XXC with an incident. He's gone round, so just this day goes bad to worse for him. And for the Mercedes outfit, because his teammate of Alexis currently sitting up in 6th. Of course, we make our way down here again. And it's going to be DRS once again for Grimray. Chael going to defend to the inside, trying to go back to the racing line. Here comes Grimray down the inside. They're going to go side by side. And Chael just manages to hold on. Will Grimray have a look to the inside? No, he'll hold off for the moment. There's some great battling side by side between Chael and Grimray here. As you can see, these front 6 to 7 cars really starting to make a bit of a breakaway. Gaming James with maybe a little bit of a mistake. Potentially tried to burn a lot of ERS and is now having to recover it. As that gap between him and Pickle up to 2 seconds now. Of course, Bono is kind of on his tail, so within DRS range and really trying to pull people along. And it's a bit more of a gap. Ozan, of course, sitting in 11th and out of the points, battling with Arstrading. But Chael really trying to take advantage of those mediums. Grimray still all over the back of him. DRS giving him that extra edge. As you can see, that 7-car train behind him. Grimray's there. Isses is there. Dawoon Jamie, Tanner, Alexis Beast, of course, moving up from Group 2, as was Isses. 2 very good drivers who I got to race with a good bit last season. Both have a lot of pace, but of course, Grimray and Chael leading this pack for the moment. And into Maggots and Beckett they come. Very tight between the two, as Arstrading is the first recipient of a 3-second time penalty. And of course, here they go. DRS open once again. That Alfa Romeo much closer. He's going to pop to the inside. And by the time they get to the braking zone, he's going to be passed. Isses going to look to make a move. Grimray kind of covers off the sweeper on the outside, and Isses moves up into P2. So the Haas jumps up onto that second step, and now it'll be the Grimray and Isses show for a little bit. And of course, Chael going to be right there in the background. And of course, it'll be interesting to see how well those mediums hold on. Still probably going to have more pace than those cars around him on hards. But of course, we'll have to wait and see. Hard braking now. We're getting our way through the first couple of corners. And that gap already starting to grow a little bit between Isses and Grimray. Half a second now, but of course the Haas is going to have that edge of DRS. And of course, being in 30, probably had the opportunity to hold back a little bit more as that gap closes up to 3/10. Yellow flag in Sector 1. That is a spun Alpha Tauri. That is Dodoligo dropping down the order. As he tries to recover the Alpha Tauri, he will get back underway. As, I'm sure that's not the last incident we'll see down at Turn 5. Really kind of important traction zone and can be really challenging to get dead right. But this lead pack making their way into Maggots and Beckett's. Dawoon Jamie right on the back of Tanner, so definitely keep an eye on that battle as Dawoon Jamie there clattered that sausage curb, of course, jumping up into this beautiful overhead view, which I wish I could select more often. Just shows you how close this field is together. Here comes Isses, and he's going to take the lead of the race. So the Haas takes over here on lap 6 in the same way we saw Grimray overtake Chael. Isses takes the lead in Group 1. And of course, this 7-car pack really starting to make a bit of a breakaway here. And of course, we weren't able to have a stream or a recording for the Group 2 race, but we saw much of the same thing. It was a 7-car breakaway early on in the race. Of course, a little bit more stratified in terms of teams, as we got 7 different cars in the top 7. Of course, you got Gaming James there in 8th, making a bit of a breakaway from the pack behind. Dodoligo going to retire from the session in the pit lane. So that's going to be our first retirement. That's going to be our first car that starts the race and retires. But Issa is now leading the way. And, of course, Grimray and Chael, we saw them battle quite a bit. Are they going to continue to battle and give Isses the chance to maybe pull away? That gap at about half a second right now. And, of course, this is with a lot of pace. But, of course, strategy is going to come into play here. As they make their way into Maggots and Beckett's, Grimray pulling away a little bit. Of course, both the Alfa Romeo and the Williams going to have DRS advantage. Tanner just there kind of biding his time in the background, potentially looking to make that move. Of course, you got the Alpine of Gwoon Jamie, reigning Group 1 champion. As you can see, everybody just trying to break that toe down the straight here with DRS. So definitely keep an eye on him. Pickle, meanwhile, just kind of holding back right on the edge of this field. R-Stratting, meanwhile, getting past Bono. That's a nice little move around the outside. Contact, though. Bono managing to hold on to the car, though. As Pickle out of the race. Did Pickle try to dive? No, Pickle is... Did Pickle just retire? I believe Pickle just retired. So I think Pickle, sadly, not able to finish the session for whatever reason. So he's out. That's also a spun McLaren. That's VDV Alley, who lost the front wing. That's going to bring out a virtual safety car. So that'll neutralize the racing for a brief moment, which is a good chance to take a look at some of the position changes. Of course, Vindof's gaining 2 spots from his starting spot of P3. Tanner with a good jump of 2 spots. Gaining James, though, the big winner at the moment, gone from gaining 8 spots in that Williams. Of course, is in a little bit of his own race at the moment, but still certainly has a chance to jump up the order. Sneaky Robbie potentially trying to take advantage and get a shot to get back into this race on strategy, as he's our first car to pit, likely for the hard compound tire. A couple other, of course, a couple of big losers at the moment, Lurka and Bora, just not having the races they would have hoped for. As well, of course, VDV Alley is going to be dropping down that order as well, as he's going to have to get that front wing replaced. So, of course, we're just waiting to get back racing. And Vindov's really pushing. So, of course, you don't want to get a drive-through here. So, slowing up now. Gap now down to 7/10. We'll see when we get back underway. Bora gets a drive-through, as does actually, no, R-Stratting already had a penalty. So, Bora, the only driver who gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under that safety car. Of course, really easy to do if you get caught in a corner. But now it is a 6-car fight for the lead, as sadly we have lost Pickle, and VDV Alley speeding in the pit lane. He is going to retire. So that's 3 drivers with their races over. But Vindovs continues to lead the way here on lap number 9 after that quick virtual safety car. Looking to break the toe there. Chael actually going to be able to get a move done on Grimray. He's going to actually blast. He's going to look all the way down the inside, potentially try and make a move for the lead, but he's going to hold that move nice and tight, and is going to get that move done on Grimray. That Williams looked to be an absolute bullet in a straight line with DRS, and he's up into P2. Gwoon Jamie, meanwhile, went side by side with Alexis Beast there for a moment, was able to defend, and of course didn't lose DRS, so the Alpine still holding on. But can this front 4 take advantage of that and potentially try to start a bit of a breakaway? 8/10 is the gap from Jamie to Tanner. As that Williams right on the tail of Issis Vindovs. Of course, as they come onto the pit straight, Vindovs going to be weaving all over the circuit. The Williams going to go to the outside. The Alfa Romeo to the inside. They're going to split Issis. Grimray not able to quite get a move done on Chael. But Issis is going to lose 2 positions as he get to back out there, as it was almost 3 wide, which I certainly think would not have worked out there, as Bono receives a 3-second time penalty. So start of lap 10, Chael retakes the lead from Grimray and Issis. Alexis Beast as well managed to get it moved done on Gwoon Jamie, who's fallen off a little bit, so potentially a nice move there from the Mercedes driver. And of course, all those drivers still really within this battle. And of course, as they continue to go side by side and lose time, that'll allow Alexis and Jamie to continue to have a shot. But it is going to be Chael looking to defend. Grimray popping out to try and see that braking zone, and of course tucking back in. Of course, as they make their way here, now it's going to be a run down into Cops, and that gap up to about half a second. So those mediums potentially finding new life on Chael's car, and maybe that just little bit extra ERS that Chael got access to, thanks to that virtual safety car, has made him all the more of a threat. Alexis Beast and Gloom Jamie as well, pulling up to the back of the field once again. Of course, we're almost right in that pit stop window for those medium compound tires. It's going to be really interesting to see what strategies everybody decides to go for, as especially with that lobby reset. It is going to be a fresh set of tires. Definitely is an annoying consequence at times, because especially on a sprint weekend with the tire selection. Of course, coming around that right-hander, it's going to be about half a second advantage for Chael. So those mediums really finding new life as the Williams starts to pull out a little bit of a gap from the Alfa Romeo. And of course, we saw Grimray win the sprint race. Definitely be sure to check out that video if you haven't already. As they make their way now through turns 3, 4, and 5. Of course, that gap starting to pull back out. But Grimray, of course, that rear wing going to open up on the Alfa Romeo. And allows him to close back up. Of course, running now into Cops once again. Been so much battling here. I haven't had a chance to drink too much water. Goo and Jamie actually fallen off the field a little bit. So that Alpine potentially not the best on its tires. As he's lost DRS advantage to the cars ahead. Alexis Beast has been able to pull away and really stick with this front pack. But of course, we've only really seen Chael, Grimray, and Isses lead this race. Here comes Grimray. He's going to look to the inside. And once again, we have another lead change. And it's the number 7, Alfa Romeo, taking the lead. The Williams, though, going to look back to the inside. He's going to tuck back in, though. And stay in P2, slot back in, and potentially try and have another go. There's a big twitch, though, from Grimray. He is going to hold up that Williams. This is going to look to have a move into turn 1. Not quite. He's going to tuck back inside as Ozan, the first driver in that front pack, to dive into the pit lane. Of course, you do lose a solid chunk of time in the pits, as that speed limit is at 37 miles an hour all the way through. Of course, making his way through the lap. Sadly, I missed Tommy XXT and Bora apparently going to war. So sadly, I missed that, as it seemed to be great, but a very close battle up here at the front. Gaming James closing up to Gawoon Jamie, as Jamie potentially falling into a bit more of a race management type of strategy. Potentially could have the opportunity to then work with Gaming James to potentially try and jump up the order, as of course making his way through Cops now. Of course, we're coming through Maggots and Beckett now with the leaders. Chael right on the back of Grimray once again. A good exit for the Alfa Romeo, but that gap up at about 3/10. It's not going to be enough for the Williams to have a run. He's going to go to the outside here, going to be kind of squeezed to the outside, and Grimray manages to hold on to the lead. Will Chael have an opportunity to cut back? No, not quite. And still going to hold off for the moment here on lap number 12. And of course, we're right into that pit stop window now. Bono getting past our Stratting with the assistance of DRS, so a good move there from the Ferrari. Of course, Carlos Sainz winning the Australian Grand Prix, at least for me, late last night. For you, it might have been very early this morning. So, of course, congratulations to him and the Ferrari team. And hopefully we see more for our Red Bull technical issues, so that way we get interesting races such as that one. Of course, coming out on to the straight once again, DRS advantage for Chael. Grimray going to defend the inside. So Chael going to try to swoop around the outside, but Grimray just braver on those brakes, potentially run a little bit more downforce, or maybe just being a little bit more confident in those corners, is able to hold on. As they come into Cops, there's the Williams once again poking that nose to the inside, thinking about making that move, but not quite being close enough. And is going to have to continue to hold back. Meanwhile, a little bit further behind, Goo and Jamie and Gaming James starting to battle. Bono and R Stratting in a bit of a race of their own. And of course, Ozan down there in 10th. on that first set of hard compound tires. So the question now, when do the leaders decide to come into the pit lane? There's Isses. He was all over the back of Chael. Chael going to go around the outside of Grimray. A little bit of contact, and Grimray loses the back end briefly, manages to recover the car, but is he going to fall out of that 1 second range? It was a great little catch there from Grimray to keep that car from going around. But of course, Gaming James as well, getting past Gawoon Jamie. But, you know, very, very tight racing, and Grimray doing a great job to manage to hold on to that car as Chael retakes the lead here on lap 14. As you can see, Grimray managing to hold on to this pack. I think did manage to keep within DRS ranges, bore a 3-second time penalty for track limits. And as they come out onto the straight once again, it's now going to be the Chael and Isses show. And of course, Tanner right there as well. Alexis Beast now, of course, up into P4. As I think Grimray actually fell out of DRS range. So he'll continue to hover there at around a second. So, of course, he'll be trying to pull back. But, of course, I think, you know, some of that incident probably caused just by worn tires and potentially just either one car or the other potentially just wandering out or having to correct. And that did lead to contact with the upper male. Alexis Beast actually falling off this pack a little bit, so going to be at risk of being overtaken by Grimray as Alexis Beast actually leaving the session. I'll try to get him back in, so apologies as I jump over and try to find him. As there he is, so I'll invite him back, as I cannot invite him back, which is certainly odd, so I will look into that. I'll hopefully leave you with the leader, so that way you can watch that in the background, excuse me. Of course, you'll be potentially looking at my friends list. I cannot invite Alexis Beast for whatever reason, so I'll continue to look into that for the moment as his AI dives into the pit lane. R-stratting 5 seconds, speeding in the pit lane. As Alexis Beast does come back, of course, his AI opting for mediums, which is going to be certainly a strategy. Issa's got Chael in the meantime. Chael, though, making that move back up the inside. And so is going to hold on to that lead here on lap number 15. So 4 cars now in it for the moment. Chael retakes the lead. Grimray still right on this pack. And that Alfa Romeo. Tanner now in that 3rd slot. So can we see our 4th leader of this race for Tanner's Aston Martin? And of course, as we make our way into Maggots and Beckett's once again. So see about 26 seconds lost in the pits. Of course, that's going to be added to a little bit because of Alexis Beast disconnecting. So which of our drivers will look to dive into the pits? It's as they come to the entry. Who's going to dive in? Chael's going to dive in. Issa's going to follow. Tanner going to stay out. Grimray going to go in. So we will see our new leader of this race, and it will be Tanner Alcan in the Aston Martin. Gawoon Jamie also diving into the pits. So our new leader is the Aston Martin. Well, let's see where these cars come out as Alexis Beast and Gaming James making their way into the final couple of corners now. So where will they come out in relation to all the cars, and what will everybody be opting for? Gawoon Jamie, mediums. Grimray, mediums. Isses, mediums. Chael, softs. And so it'll be out in the order they came in. Here comes Alexis Beast out of the final couple of corners as well. So where will he come out? Alexis Beast and Gaming James putting that undercut to work. They're going to be out right into this battle. Who's going to come out where? Alexis Beast into 4th. Gaming James looks to go around the outside of Grimray as he's got those tires up to temperature. He's up into 5th. And once again, we've got a whole nother battle brewing as Chael opts for the soft. So once again, Chael going to have that tire advantage early. Can he take advantage? So, of course, we'll stick with the leader as he makes his way through Maggots and Beckett's now. Of course, Chael going to have a big advantage on those new softs to try and pull that gap. But is it going to be enough? You can see that gap coming down all the time between Tanner and Chael. So I would be shocked if Tanner doesn't dive into the pits now. He will. So we'll jump back to Chael, making his way through Maggots and Beckett's as Tanner jumps into the pits. And I don't think there's enough of a gap from the Aston Martin back to the Williams, who's got a bit of a gap now forming to Isses as those mediums are struggling to come up to temperature a little bit, as Chael potentially making a little bit of a getaway. As we'll have to see where Tanner comes out. Medium tires being put onto that Aston Martin. It's a good stop, so good timing on the QuickTime event. And it's going to be close once again. So I think once again we're going to have a six-way fight. Here comes Chael onto the pit straight. When will the Aston Martin be released? He is released now. And I think he'll come out at the end of this field. So the undercut, once again, working to fruition for all these cars. The Aston Martin going to come out at the end of this pack of 6. And so great day for Williams as they currently sit first and fourth. Bora 5 seconds speeding in the pits. And he's currently in 14th. Just getting rather unlucky there, as that's more or less race over for him. But now can Chael try to make a little bit of a getaway. Alexis Beast right up into this fight. Gaining James right on the back of them as well. As Chael receives a 3-second time penalty. That's big news, as Chael on fresh softs receives a 3-second time penalty here on lap number 17, as he potentially has a chance now to make a breakaway and, make that gap count. But he's taken 3 warnings. But now is that going to be his chance to break away? Or is this Alexis, Gaming James, Grimray, and Tanner, though, all going to work together to try and recatch him? Is defending. Alexis going to go to the inside. Alexis Beast takes over P2, so we got another new competitor into the top 3, and Alexis Beast, though the gap up ahead a second and a half. Of course, is going to be closing. So now Alexis Beast with the opportunity to try and lead the charge. As Chael, 127.975, and that gap opening very, very quickly. As the Williams really making use of that fresh, clean air. As those 2, 3, and 4 all super, super tight between Alexis Vindovs and Gaming James. Gaming James makes his way past Vindov, so that's the Williams with a great recovery drive. I think he's an easy driver of the day candidate for the feature. As he's recovered very nicely from getting rather unlucky in the sprint, and of course we'd be looking at a Williams 1 and 2. As of course Mercedes Power all in the top 3, but it's more the parent team that's on the back foot. But 2 seconds is the gap between Alexis and Chael. Gaming James, though, looking to make that move for P2. What would be the net lead at the moment. DRS wide open on the back of the Williams. Here he comes towards Alexis Beast. He's going to look to the outside. Alexis, is he going to defend it all? He will, but Gaming James still going to sweep around the outside and get that move done. So Gaming James up into P2, and it's Williams 1 and 2 here at Silverstone. As Alexis Beast getting a bit loose there. So potentially losing another position to Vindovs as they run into turn 1. Just got a little bit loose. You could see a little bit of that twitch as they made their way through turns 1 and 2. There's P1, there's P2. So is Gaming James potentially now going to be trying to play a bit more of a team game? We'll, of course, see his pace relative to his teammate. And, of course, we'll see just how much those mediums can keep pace with the softs now that they've had a couple of laps to get up to temperature. And of course, Gaming James looking to break that toe. Alexis Beast potentially, more than okay with sitting behind Gaming James if it means that he stays within that 3-second gap to Chael, as that gap not growing quite as much anymore. It's hovered at around that 2.2 seconds. So those softs potentially starting to lose their advantage, with those mediums coming into form now. As Bora sets a new fast lap of the race, potentially trying to steal that point. So, of course, through Maggots and Beckett's now. And that gap continuing to come down. It's now at 2.1 seconds. So does Gaming James have the pace to keep everybody in it? Vindovs and Alexis Beast going to go side by side. They're both going to have DRS. And so, of course, they've got Gaming James ahead of them that they need to be careful of. Isis runs a little bit wide. And Alexis going to remain side by side. Alexis going to eventually hold on to the position. Isis going to slot in behind him. And, of course, Tanner right there as well. Of course, you got Grimray in 6th, led a good portion of this race, but just pitted, just did not choose the best time to pit. Of course, just came out a little bit unluckily. Goes very deep there, almost in the back of Tanner. I think just missed that braking zone, almost in the back of the Aston Martin. Good evasive action, though. So could this now become a 5-car fight, or really a 4-car fight in terms of on track? But how much of this battle will we continue to see as now these 4 continue to try to pull away? Our Stratting and Bono continue to battle, as they've done for a good chunk of this race. Galoon Jamie certainly had a quiet race down there in P7, but certainly rather respectable, and he's not too far off the back of this pack. Vindovs may have made a mistake there in his battle with Alexis. I'm not sure if he just lost a little bit of time looking for a move, but he's now down into 5th, as he's fallen behind Tanner, who potentially looking to make another move, as Tanner now starting to get on the charge. Alexis looking down the inside of the Williams of Gaming James, as he's got to run, so it's the Mercedes up into P2 as the 2 swap places. Meanwhile, the gap up ahead of them sitting at 2.4 seconds, so they can't lose too much time. Tanner, though, getting that move done on Gaming James as well, so is Tanner now potentially looking to make the charge. They're going to go side by side through the final corner. A little bit loose for Gaming James, but Tanner manages to hold on. I don't know who Dusty Bassoon is, but he is now here to spectate as we make our way through turns 1 and 2. Gaming James actually taking 2 of the runoff, as he potentially got pushed by the side, pushed wide. But now Gaming James losing a lot of positions. He's battling with Vindov's wheel to wheel. As they make their way through, they're going to remain side by side as they come into the pit straight. Wheel to side pod. Here comes Grimray as they remain side by side. All 3 cars with DRS. Who's the fastest in a straight line? Contact between Grimray and Gaming James as they went 3 wide, and Gaming James goes round. So going to be very disappointing for Gaming James, who was in that fight for the lead. I think just got caught up in a bunch of fights and was trying to, salvage positions. And it was just, one of those situations where 3 cars into a corner isn't really going to work. Tanner, meanwhile, on a charge, now into 2nd, Grimray in 4th, Isses in 5th. Galoon Jamie, a big beneficiary of that. He's now in 6th, and has continued to close that gap to the cars ahead. That gap now sitting at 1.6 seconds. So that Alpine potentially getting faster and faster. Here comes Tanner to the inside. He'll move up into P2. He'll jump ahead of Alexis. Is the Aston Martin going to be the one with enough pace to keep with Chael? As his teammate now down into 7th is Armstrong. Another 3-second time penalty. Of course, coming through the final couple of corners now. And here they come on to the pit straight. Of course, hard braking, and now that gap coming down more and more. So Tanner potentially finally deciding he'll do it himself, as the Aston Martin starting to make a bit of a breakaway from that pack behind, as that gap to Chael coming down. As Tanner said, enough is enough. There's 5 laps to go. I'm going to push. I want this win. Of course, Alexis be still right there in the background. Could he be looking for a win in Group 1? Grimray certainly not out of the question for a potential win on debut. Isses as well. Multiple-time race winner, but not yet in Group 1. Can the Haas have anything to say about this? As Tanner continues to close that gap. It's now down to 1.8 seconds. As Tanner really putting his foot down now and starting to build this gap. And that's, of course, going to benefit all the cars behind him, as that penalty for Chael, is just a straight-up time penalty. So if Tanner continues to pull along these cars behind him, like Alexis, and even like Grimray, and potentially even Isses, they all could get a couple of bonus points here, as that gap now down to 1.3 seconds. So those mediums on Tanner's car really starting to get strong compared to those softs, as that gap continues to come down. And he's leading this charge of 4 to potentially make a move. And now that these cars have really stopped battling, now that Tanner is apparently just content to drive his own race and, really tow everybody along with him. Here they come now. There's Grimray looking to the inside of Alexis. Potentially a little bit of contact between the two, but seems to be racing pretty hard. And Grimray now up into the podium places. Of course, your podium, should the race finish now, would be Tanner from Grimray, from Alexis from Vindovs. But still lots of laps left to go, and Tanner closing the distance to Chael. As, of course, we come by the camera, you'll see that Williams not too far up the road. You can see it in a couple of those camera shots. Here they come through the S's. And that gap not quite close enough for the Aston Martin to get DRS. But, of course, Grimray going to be right there as well. He led this race for multiple laps. Alexis Beast hasn't led the race yet, but has been in this front pack for the whole time. Isses as well has led laps. So any one of these drivers could realistically have a shot. Isses came close to the back of Alexis Beast there, but had to take avoiding action. And they're all right on the back. And the target is going to be Chalwoti. Chalwoti has 3 to go here in Silverstone. Of course, as they come into turn 3, that Aston Martin now has DRS advantage. So could that be the dagger for Tanner? Of course, we've seen just how much pace that Aston Martin has. Yellow flag in the S's. That's for Tommy XXC, who's slow. Just has not been the race he's hoped for. So definitely disappointing to see him down there in 14th. Definitely will hope to see him better for Zandvoort. Of course, as they come through now, that gap sitting at about a second. Chael managing to hold them back. But how much ERS has Chael saved? Of course, he's going to look to keep racing. As, you know, you never know what could happen behind you as Bono and our Stratting change positions. Our Stratting actually gets him back, meanwhile. But, of course, we'll stick with this front pack. Poor run briefly from Chael, but manages to hold on to that gap. DRS going to be wide open for the Aston Martin, is 8.5 tenths and closing, but not by much. So that Aston Martin, I think, just running a lot of downforce and has held on to those tires really admirably. As you can see, picking up a lot of time through that corner, as it will be 2 to go here. So we make our way through out of the final 2 corners. That gap 3/4 of a second, 2 laps to go. Still, all 5 of these cars realistically in it and battling for a race win. Of course, Chael probably the most disadvantaged with that 3 seconds. But who's going to try to make the move late on in the race? 2 to go, so elbows certainly going to be thrown. But how much of a chance do they have? Grimray 3 tenths back of the Aston Martin of Tanner. But of course, both cars with DRS, so could Tanner, be comfortable enough just holding back of Chael and taking the win with the penalty? Is tandem DRS, 2 DRSs cancel each other out, but 3 tenths is the gap between these two. Of course, Alexis Beast right there in case anything happens to pounce, as is Vindovs. So as we come through Mackets and Beckets for the penultimate time, the gap up at the front, 4 tenths. Tanner probably going to have to make a move here as Grimray going to be all over the back of him. Here they come, DRS. 3 DRS activations left to go. Really 3 good overtaking spots. The Williams of Chael going to defend to the inside a little bit. Going to go back to the racing line. And Tanner not quite going to have the move done, but he's very close. 1 to go here. Of course, a little bit of lap traffic up ahead. That is Tommy XXC, who, of course, will ghost. But, of course, we're going to cross the line to start the final lap of the British Grand Prix. Here we go. 5 cars in it. Who's going to come out on top? It's the Williams leading the way across the line as we make our way through the first couple of corners. The gap between everybody is about 3 tenths to every driver. Of course, Grimray going to be looking to make that move. Tanner going to have, of course, both cars going to have DRS advantage. But are we going to see mind games potentially as we make our way out of turn 5? What's the strategy going to be from Tanner and from Chael? DRS active. Chael goes defensive. He's going to go back to the racing line. Is the Aston Martin going to go back to the inside? No, he's going to hold position. So he will have another chance at DRS. Alexis Beast right on the back of Grimray as they make their way through turn number 6 and 7. Can he hold on as Grimray now closed up to the back of Tanner as we run into Cops? 2 tenths between the two with the best chance to win it. 2 tenths between 3rd and 4th. 2 tenths between 4th and 5th. So we're only a couple of more opportunities left. Red lights flashing on the back of Alexis and Vindov's car, so they're not going to have anything to be able to deploy. Tanner and Grimray right on the back of the Williams. 5 cars all in one shot. One chance left to go. Here comes Tanner on the Aston Martin. Tanner made a mistake. Tanner got loose. He's going to end up in 5th. Is Grimray going to go around the outside? Grimray's going to look to go around the outside of the Williams. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Grimray. 3 corners left to go. And here comes Grimray. He managed to make it work on the last lap. A mistake from Tanner is going to do it. Grimray wins in Silverstone. It's going to be Alexis in 2nd. Is in 3rd. Chael comes home in 4th, followed by Tanner and Gawoon Jamie, the respectable 6th. Gamey James, of course, got cut up in that incident, will finish 7th. Bono and R-Stratting, of course, coming into the final couple of corners. Is it going to be the Ferrari or the Alpine on top? R-Stratting around the outside, a little bit of contact. R-Stratting with the final chance. Bono going to look back up the inside, and they're going to battle to the line, and it's going to be Bono eventually after penalties. Rounding out the points as well, it's going to be Lurka in 8th. Ozan actually going to be 9th. Bono in 10th, and R-Stratting out of the points, and it'll be Robbie, Bora, and Tommy XXC. But what a last lap. What a race. Of course, congratulations to a bunch of our drivers. We'll wait to see who won Driver of the Day. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But that was a great race. Hopefully I didn't get too many noise complaints from my neighbors as Bora crossed the line. But of course, congratulations to Grimray, winning for Alfa Romeo on debut. Manages to get it done. Alexis Beast and Vindovs, 2 drivers from Group 2 we've seen numerous times there, will round out the podium. Chael with a great drive, but unlucky to get that 3-second penalty, as was Tanner, who made that mistake out of Maggots and Beckett's. I don't think that was due to contact. I think he just got loose. But of course, congratulations. What a race. Of course, we'll wait to see the driver of the day, and it does go to Game James, who I still think absolutely deserved it for that recovery drive to get back into that front fight. But of course, congratulations to him. It's going to be the Alfa Romeo driver on the top step of the podium. The Hungarian winning out in Silverstone. So of course, look at your order. It is going to be Grimray winning from Alexis. This is Chael, Tanner, Gawoon Jamie, Giving James, Lurka, Ozan, and Bono are your top 10. R-Stratting, Sneaky Robbie, Bora, and Tommy XXC steals fast lap away, so nobody else able to claim it, but he'll hold on to that. VDV Alley, 15th, Lonty Pickle, 16th, Dodaligo, 17th, and of course we lost 2 other Swedes, Jojo and Fortuna, on the carryover. So hopefully you all enjoyed watching both of these videos. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Definitely be sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'd love to grow the channel. And if you're interested in the league, definitely throw that in the comments as well, as we'd love to see you. But hope you have a great next one. That was some great racing. Of course, congratulations to Grimray, Alexis, and Isses on their podium. And we will see you in 2 weeks in Zandvoort. So we'll see you next time.